Hello, Sue. Yeah,
There, I got it finally. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Only I don't look as nice as Tammy, but she's let me stand in for her tonight.
Oh, she's letting you stand in for her. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. How about that? Well, I thought I better check in. So,
well, good idea. I need
yeah.
to. While I got you here, Sue, I'm getting back feed from YouTube, so I need to try to turn that off. Why is that? I can't get the. I don't know. I don't see it now. It's not happening again.
Huh. Well, I'm outside on my phone, so,
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still doing it. It just temporarily froze.
huh. So are they off playing tonight or?
Yeah, her granddaughter's graduating.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Yeah, I cannot find. Are they off what?
I'm not getting any static from you or anything.
All right, I'm still having trouble. I'm trying to turn the volume off on YouTube because no, it's here at my house. That's where I am. I just can't see where to shut the volume off on.
I don't use YouTube enough to
Oh,
know.
I finally figured it out.
All right.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
I'm Kevin standing in for Tammy tonight.
Ah, I didn't think you looked like a Tammy.
Thank you, I think. I, I don't remember. Have I ever talked to you, Lisa? You don't look familiar at all.
No, we are, my husband, Keith, is there on the other side of the hot sauce bottle. Um,
Hi.
we, are reading the Keto Continuum and got, saw on the website, the list of, keto coaches. And Tammy's profile was the one that resonated with us the most. So this is our first week. I think Kevin might be frozen.
I don't know. You are the host now, it says on mine. I
Good
know, no,
job,
no,
Sue. Good job.
no,
No.
no. Kevin must have shut himself off.
No, he's back. You're on mute. you're still on mute.
Thank you for that. So, what were you saying, Lisa, about you and your husband?
We started reading the Keto Continuum and found Dr. Boz's website and the list of coaches, and Tammy's profile resonated with us the most. So here we are.
Yeah, I'm still, I don't know how I got hooked up with her. It must have been through the book, the Facebook thing. And Tammy and I only live a few miles from each other.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
very, very, very lucky in that respect. So have you been doing this long with Tammy, or are you just starting today, or?
So we've been on the keto journey for many years, but honestly stalled.
Yeah,
Dr. Boz's book has really been beneficial in explaining why. What we realized is that we really weren't keto, we were just low carb.
right, right.
Um,
And that's common. That's common.
so we are, um, basically been following the process in the book. I think this is the Sunday or Monday, we started the 16/8. And so, we've been tracking ketones. I have a glucose monitor. So, trying to understand the ratio, and stay in a place of producing ketones. So, that has been a challenge for both of us. And so, we're just trying to get tips and tricks so that we can move to the next phase
Yeah.
and see,
So
see some results.
how long have you been at 16 and 8?
Just a couple days.
Yeah. So I made a whole bunch of errors in the beginning with that, in that mostly I took the opportunity to pretty much eat during that whole 8 hour period. And I wasn't understanding it real well, and I remember that. So I think the trick is to figure out, like, if your chronometer, are you using chronometer?
No, we haven't started with that. So that says
So
we need to grab that. We actually
yeah,
have it, but we hadn't been using it. So,
yeah. So when you start tracking your food, and let's say it comes out to 1,500 calories, and try to eat early on in the 8 hour period, roughly half, and then near the end of the 8 hour period and eat roughly half. Because I was just grazing the whole 8 hours and I wasn't
I
doing
see.
anything. So you just kind of have to figure that out. And I think what you'll find out too, and are you signed up with Tammy's class also, her
No,
beginners class? I
no.
encourage that because that's where everyone's having the same struggles you are. And then you'll get people like Sue up there who's been doing this a long time, and myself, I'll come in and, you can ask us questions. But I think part of the 8 hour thing like that is, so if you ate at, say, noon and 8 p.m., which you don't want to do, say, let's call it 8 o'clock in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, your window, that 8, 16, 8, that'll go down pretty fast because, you really are not going to want to wait 8 hours to finish your two meals or whatever you want in there.
Okay.
So just something to think about. And if you've been doing keto for a decent amount of time, then you probably know real well how to, I just call it ignoring hunger,
Mm.
just because you know that it'll pass in a short period of
I was
time, and the
doing
fats
my
and that'll
meeting.
fill you up. And what's your husband's name?
The name is Keith.
You
Keith?
gonna go take a
Keith with a
shower?
K.
I
Keith.
Oh, okay.
Probably.
My hearing sometimes isn't so great.
Okay, go on.
So where are you guys at? Where?
We're in Northern Kentucky, down near Cincinnati.
Hmm.
Good,
Yeah,
good,
my
good.
yeah, my niece is in
I'm talking to
Fort
them.
Campbell down there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're
She's
in Independence, so a little north of Fort Campbell.
I haven't been down to see her. My nephew, he goes down there all the time. It's actually my nephew's daughter, so she's my grandniece.
Oh, that's nice.
All right, so I'm gonna talk to Bill here for a second. You can hop in whenever you want, ask questions, and see where you are. What you got going, Bill?
Well, I'm into my second full day of eating 16/8. Um, I'm I don't want to say I haven't adjusted my chronometer settings exactly how it is to be. I have it set to, I think, rigorous, I think is the setting. Um, but for my body weight currently, it's suggesting I eat roughly in my activity level, eating roughly 3,300 calories, I believe.
Wow.
And that's with a 250 calorie deficit. Um, I'm currently only taking in about 2,600 calories, so I'm about 750 or 800 calorie deficit. I'm having about 1,600 or 1,700 calories for my first meal, about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm splitting. I've got 4 cans of sardines and water and 2 cans of kippered herring. So I have 2 and 1, each at 2 meals, usually around 11 a.m. and then the last at 3 p.m. Sitting here, I'd like to eat right now. I think it's more of a psychological thing more than any. Um, I felt really good this morning when I woke up. Um, I mean, I've been doing low carb for quite some time, just because of my health issues. I came here uh, to really motivate myself and really, um, physiologically change things around. I had to take the next step. I'd take it to another level. To say that. Um, but I do have a victory to share. I've been, I talked last week about my hospital stay, middle of November last year. And for all of you knew, uh, was basically eating myself to death. Put myself in the hospital. Real short story. Had necrotic pancreatitis, and it had screwed my triglycerides up. I was taking in so much sugar and fat and everything we shouldn't be, to where my body was so out of whack. My triglycerides were approaching 5,500.
Wow.
When I got to the second hospital, I was in near full systemic organ failure. Everything was shutting down, and by the grace of God, I'm sitting here. The doctors and staff there at, I would say, the last 2 hospitals. I was at 3 hospitals total. Did an amazing job. With that, I have been low carb since I got out of the hospital. I've dropped nearly 80 pounds since it would be the middle of December when I went in the hospital. 25 of which was while I was in a coma, and the balance has been uh, by my own doing, I should say. I finally got under the 300-pound mark this morning. I haven't seen that number in quite some time. So, but I know it's because just this change. So, the medical community, the staff, all who I spoke with was, I had a very narrow path to follow as far as diet goes. And I remember getting into an argument with the one dietitian about vegetable oils. Um, just amazing. Um, I've got this internal conversation in my head. You'll have to pardon me. Just the anger that day. She wanted to insist. Well, she did insist that ultimately the vegetable oils were healthier than the coconut oil that I would use sparingly to cook my vegetables with. Um, I knew that to not be true, just based on all that I had, learned up until that point and researched and known from another, time of weight loss that I had about a decade ago. But boy, my body has been very receptive. I'm feeling, you know, everyone thinks you're eating all this fat and you're going to kill yourself. No, it's the other stuff
No,
in your body. We all.
no, and you make a couple of decent points. Uh, just so you know, I'm not nitpicking. I just sense things from been doing this for a while. Been doing about 3.5 years. So all of us, every one of us, worry about the calories in the beginning, and you should, but at the same time, get the worry about the fat. So you said,
Oh,
so if you only had 2,600 of your 3,300 calories today, look at your fats versus your protein.
my macros are right where they should be. I'm at 70% on the fats. Yesterday I actually I had a half dozen eggs and 5 ounces of cut up pork country ribs sauteed in a pan. It didn't really make like an omelet, but a scramble. And I ended up dumping 7 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to get the balance of the fat. Um,
Yeah.
Seemed like it was a lot at the time, but this morning I added in some Parmesan cheese. Boy, was that tasty.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And after a while, you'll just mix and match all kinds of stuff. And
It,
also, you alluded to the brain game, and I that's what I see this as. It's all brain game. You got to figure out what's better for you, eating the standard American diet and being 400 pounds and having a gazillion triglycerides, or go with. I mean, Sue is a big winner in this. Diane is a huge winner in this game. I'm a huge winner in this game. And the weight loss I always think is tertiary. I think the health benefits far, far, far outweigh the weight, but at the same time, everybody can see the weight. They can't see inside my liver or my kidney or my heart or anything like that. So to me, that's the big benefit for the sales part of what we're doing. And then I like that you said you're breaking up the 8 hours essentially over three different periods is that what you said?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think what you'll find too is pretty soon the hunger is more of a little bit of a mental thing, and it's a wait and see. Uh, Tammy's so much smarter about this, but because she's lived it longer than I. But she talks about the ghrelin. It's essentially your body telling you're hungry. And that happened to me this morning. I was really genuinely hungry, but I was not in a position to eat. And unfortunately, I finished my meal at 5:30 today, which, isn't good. And if you don't know that, the whole thing is the earlier you finish your meals, then the longer period of time you have to digest the food. And then when you go to bed at night, you're being more restful, that kind of thing. There's a lot of science to it that Tammy goes into. No, normal in the intermediate more than anything, right, Sue and Diane? Is that where she gets into the sleeping and the time and that? So just keep doing what you're doing, Bill. And by the way, Bill lives near me too, very near. So we're very lucky in that respect. So it's me, Tammy, Lance, and then Terry, who, if we see her, she lives very near me also. So what you got going, Diana?
I'm unmuted now. I about forgot I got involved in something. I'm like, oh, actually, I was on YouTube, just popped on YouTube, and I saw you. I'm like, it said live support group. I'm like, whoops.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay. I'm battling some back issues at the moment, and trying to figure out what to do about that. I don't know. I've got uh pinched nerves in at least two different areas, L4 and L5, and just trying to figure out. Well, I did. Well, the advice I was given yesterday was because I said I'm concerned about these nerves. I don't want damage to be done to these nerves. Do I need to have surgery? What needs to happen here? So she said, unless I'm having foot drop and things going on, that it would be okay to let it go for a little bit. So, um, I had some blood work done yesterday. Wildly fantastic numbers, dropped the cholesterol like crazy, which I wasn't concerned about it, but I thought, well, I'll try to make my doctor happy. But I was at my total cholesterol was 399 in October, and she about had a cow, wanted me to take statins. So yesterday it was 177. My
All right.
never been able to get my HDL up as high as it was. It's never been over 65. It was 95 yesterday. Triglycerides were 62. So pretty happy about
62.
that,
Wait a minute,
but
wait a minute, wait a minute. 62 triglycerides?
62 down
Wow.
from 153 in October.
Oh my gosh. See, I had similar results with the cholesterol. Mine was around 400 about a year ago, and it's now 197. And I struggled for years. I finally got my HDL to around 50 at one point, around 50, and it was 38 this time. So
Well,
it's a big struggle.
you know what I did?
What would you do?
Now I have yet to figure out how much this is affecting my glucose, but my sister had some success using hawthorn berry, and that's what I did for the
Uh,
last couple months. That's what I've been doing, is using hawthorn berry extract.
Hmm.
I'm actually writing that down.
Well, I have, like I said, I've never been able to get my HDL above like 65.
Well, yeah, when I went to see, I had to end up going to see the thyroid people because I'm taking that one drug for my heart, and I'm almost done with that. So that drug threw my thyroid out of whack. So while I'm talking to the thyroid doctor, she says, "Oh, your HDL is only 38. You must not work out at all." Well, those of you that know
Oh,
me,
you do.
I'm doing 3 to 5 to 6 miles a day with my
Yeah,
dogs.
that's yeah.
And she says, "Oh no, I mean weight training." And I went, "Wait a minute, the weight training is going to increase it?" And I think there's some science behind that, which
Yeah.
kind of freaked me out. But of all those numbers, I am deeply impressed with
Yeah.
62.
Well,
I can't even, I genuinely, I know you're telling the truth, but it's like, wow.
yeah, I was kind of shocked. I mean, I expected it to be better, but holy cow. I mean, the only thing I did different, when I was doing keto before I was doing it, the Dr. Boz way, I hardly ever ate bacon or butter or any
Hmm.
of that
Hmm.
stuff. So that's the only thing I changed. I went mostly to coconut oil and avocado oil, and I do eat a few avocado, I mean, in moderation with the avocados, but that's the only thing I changed. And
So
my numbers were really great before, when that's what I was doing too. And so the only
if you're,
thing different this time is I added the hawthorn berry extract.
so if your triglycerides are 62, is your A1C like -5 or something?
I don't know that she didn't check that, but yeah. But that's the good news. The bad news was my inflammation markers are through the roof.
Well, if you have L4 and L5, isn't L4 the big no-no one? If
Yeah.
you have the L4, that's the big pain.
So, I gotta buckle down and get the inflammation back out of my body, and the only way to do that is get them ketones up. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And inflammation for some weird reason, it comes and goes with me. Like one day
yeah,
I'll be like, where'd all this inflammation? I don't know where it came from.
yeah.
You know,
One
90% of the time or more, it's not there.
The
Hey,
last two times I've had blood work in November, it was fine. But the last two times I've had blood work, it's increased and it's even worse this time. So I don't know. if that's partly what's going on, with what's going on with my back or what. But
Who knows?
I've not been consistent for a while. There's just been too much stuff going on, and I'm gonna have to just buckle down and go for it again.
Well, the last couple of days I noticed you're pushing closer and closer to 100, and to me that's a huge win for your blood glucose. Anytime you're somewhere
Right.
around 100, I think you're on a big win streak. I mean, my average still is around 85, 86, 87.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago it was 97 one day, 68 the next, and 95 the day after that. It's like, explain that. I
Yeah, I
I
know
don't know.
mine. Yeah, it bounces all over the place, and sometimes I'm like, why is it that high? But I do know stress and emotions will affect it, and
Yeah, so yeah, you're right.
Hey,
You're right.
Diana, how much hawthorn berry extract are you taking and when?
um, it's like I'd have to look at it's about a half a dropper full. Um, I'd have to look and see what exactly how much is in there. But then my sister gave me, now I just recently, I've only been taking these for about a week, but she's the one that had pretty wild success with getting her cholesterol down too. And that's what she researched it. And, well, it's not just, everybody. I saw one of the big, functional medicine doctors are talking about that's the new norm for cholesterol is hawthorn berry and, uh, CoQ10.
Oh,
Now, I didn't take
CoQ10.
that just
Really?
mainly because that's one of the more expensive supplements, but
Yeah, I have
um
CoQ10 in the house. That's crazy. I should be
my
using it.
sister gave me these capsules that are like 8,000 milligrams, but I've only taken those for like a week, so I
Oh,
don't really think that really had a huge effect on it. But um let me see. Actually, I might be able to get. I think this bottle of extract is sitting up here. Yeah. Okay, this is 2,000 milligrams. I don't have my glasses on.
Hold it up to the screen. Maybe we can read it. I couldn't.
Hold on a second. I can't even find the.
Yeah, all of us are blind.
That's. Uh,
I don't think, yeah, if you hold that steady, we can actually read that label.
read it.
72 doses, 2 milliliters, 72 drops.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if I'm actually taking the right dose or not, but it's about a half a dropper full is what I take.
Yeah, it says
Turn it around,
oh,
Diana.
Do what?
Turn it around the front of the label.
Okay, hang on. And this is not, I don't know. I just got this off Amazon. I don't know if it's any good or not, as far as it doesn't, I don't think it's got any bad ingredients in it, but
yeah, I
um
don't recognize that brand, but so obviously, at this point it's anecdotal, but if you keep taking it and you keep having those numbers, then
uh
we'll make a run on Amazon.
yeah, I think that's, well, I need to look and see. I might have got it. I have a natural grocery store up where my sister lives, and I get a lot of stuff out of there. I might have got it from there. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, we
But
have some of them around here. All
um
right, let's check in with Sue for a little bit.
well, I'm doing good. I'm really doing good. I'm getting better. Our new folks won't know. Well, I've been on this journey for probably 6 years. I started paleo. I've done all of that all the way up. Did keto, of course, and you know, every step I took, it's like I would lose a little weight and then I would quit. My weight would be steady. So then I'd go one step stricter to um, boost my weight loss again. And I think this morning I got on the scale, first time for since I broke my leg, and it was 199. So that means I'm down 135 pounds. So it's been a very slow process, which is fine with me. Um, of course, I broke my leg in February. I'm walking with the walking walker now. Um, trying a little bit to transition to just plain walking. I have no pain, which is awesome. The soreness is finally going away, but as you guys know, through all of this, I have not cheated once, not once,
She's
even
been a
at the
rock star.
rehab. Yeah, even at the rehab, I have not had anything to eat that I shouldn't have had. And I'm just stubborn that way. I mean, absolutely. So, um, I do know when I went into surgery on the 19th of February, I was 224, is what they said on their bed that they weighed me on. And I know a lot of that was fluid. I was 206 the day I fell. So my weight loss is very, very slow, but everybody, hospital, um, rehab, everybody. Oh, you are very healthy. You're really healthy. Well, yeah, I should be the way I'm eating. Um, we are changing family doctors. So in about 2 weeks, we go see the new doctor, and I imagine she'll want to do the blood tests. I I had my blood all tested through Dr. Sires. Oh gosh, I think back in maybe December, and he had me do 46 blood tests, different things. So I can't remember what my numbers were, but I do have something to compare them to when this new doctor takes them. So we'll see. I'm not worried about it, but I'm doing good. I feel good. We camp next week finally again. We only had to miss one camping session, and so this summer we camp every 3 weeks. So I can get in and out of the camper now, which has 4 steps. Joe helped me get in and out of the truck this last week. So I've met all my goals, but we're going camping Tuesday. So next Thursday night, I'll be back from camping. So I'm excited. It's a little hard to transition from this walker to just plain walking. I'm still not steady, but I'm going to do it in my time. PTOT is done. They're not coming back anymore, so I'm on my own now. But I feel really good, and I just want to encourage our new people to not get discouraged. Don't quit. Keep going no matter what you do. Keep going. This is the best thing out there. Absolutely the best. So,
Hey, thanks, Sue. And one thing I'd really like to say is I've known Sue, obviously, or maybe not obviously, but through Zoom for probably 2+ years now. I don't know. And I was stupefied and still am with your numbers, especially your blood sugar the last 2 or 3 months while you've been gone through the broken leg and all that jazz. It's just been nuts. And if
yeah.
Lisa and Keith and Bill, if you're not on the Facebook where you can look at the people post their numbers, sometimes I don't because I'll go 3, 4, 5, 6 days. I won't even bother taking my ketones and blood sugar because I can sense, where I am. But um, Diana and Sue have been very religious about posting, and it's just crazy, Sue's blood sugar. And there's a girl, Nancy. Have you watched her numbers lately, Sue?
Yeah, she's doing great.
60s and 70s for her
Yeah.
blood sugar,
Yes.
nonstop. It's like, how?
Yeah.
You know,
I can't get mine down that low. I can't. I mean, I'm doing good if I come up with an 80. I just can't get mine that low, but it's all working.
yeah,
So,
yeah, because, those of us who still have a little bit or even a lot of weight to lose, um, you know, Tammy does the more scientific method, but me, that sugar's hiding in your ass somewhere. It's hiding in your belly, it's hiding somewhere. And
oh yeah,
you're teaching your body to run on the ketones or the fat. And once in a while, that sugar, that muscle memory is how I look at it. It's going to come through. It's going to stick out somehow, some way. So
I'm
you just got to
actually
keep plugging away.
experiencing that this week. I have been down in, pretty consistent in the 88 to 95 range. And all
Nice,
week it's been
nice.
100, 110,
Right.
150. And I'm like, what the heck? It just feels like it came out of nowhere right as we
Yeah,
started the 16-8.
yeah. Well,
And
so what were you doing before 16/8? Were you just having three regular meals a day?
yes,
Okay, so you have to think about this. So if you were eating breakfast not long after you got up and eating your lunch at a regular quote unquote time and then eating dinner 6 o'clock-ish or something like that,
pretty much.
your your body's used to having that whether it's sugar or not doesn't matter, but just be used to being stimulated. So now it's not being stimulated, so the sugar is going to try to take over. It's going to jump out there and try to take over. So when you have like me, it's rare for me to go over 100 anymore, but I'll be in the 90s a lot, and I just don't understand. I probably still have like 15 pounds to go, and that's only because I want the weight off, not
Mm,
because I need the weight off. I just feel a little bit better if I can get down another 15 pounds. But you don't know this, Lisa and Keith, but at one point I was 300 pounds,
wow.
and I'm right around 175 right now. But the health
Yep.
benefits are way past that. But the sugars, that's just going to constantly happen, Lisa. You're just going to be shaking your head like, what, how'd that happen? Sometimes you can nail it. For me, if I eat too much protein like I did yesterday, if I would have done my numbers today, I'm sure my sugar would have been pushing 100. But I just ate way too much protein, and that's what happens with me.
Mm,
Um, Other people, it's just they may not eat enough fat.
Gracias.
Um, who knows? But the 16/8, that's
Yeah,
probably what's going to happen. You're just going to keep bringing that window down. You're at 8 hours now. And when you start bringing it down, it's probably going to happen again. Your body's going to want that nourishment, be it carbs or not.
mm,
And it's probably going to spike your sugar a little bit. And that's one thing. A friend of mine a couple months ago, she got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and they gave her that medicine, is it metformin? Is that what that
I was
is?
like, I am
They gave
not
her that and
yeah.
interested.
something else. And
Yeah.
so she brought me in and she says, look, I know you're an expert on this, meaning the keto thing and so forth and so on. And she said, can you help me? Can keto help me? I said, yeah. I said, so go back to your doctor. And she'd already told me what her doctor was telling her. I said, go back to your doctor and ask your doctor why, if you have type 2 diabetes, that 5, 6 times a day she wants you to eat carbs and spike your sugar. She went, what? I went,
Okay.
yeah. I said, does it make any sense? She said, no. But cognitive dissonance, I don't know if you're familiar with that. She, meaning the doctor, has the wrong idea and has passed it on to her, and she has the wrong idea. So they're living with the wrong idea,
Mm,
and she doesn't want to come off that. So she's going around spiking her sugar 5, 6 times a day and taking diabetes medicine and thinks it's okay.
I
Meanwhile,
know that's hard.
yeah, because I was at
That's
the edge of,
hard.
I was almost at type 2 diabetes. I was this close to type 2 diabetes. Not even close now. So,
I have never been close to it. Never. So I've not had to go through all that. I do OMAD, and
mhm.
since I broke my leg, I've not done any fasting. Oh my gosh, did they hit the ceiling, the doctors and stuff, when I said, well, I need to do some fasting to get this bone to heal. You don't you dare do that while you're healing, blah, blah, blah. Well, I knew it would work. I physically have not been able to fast. My mentally, I am not there. But I'm doing OMAD. I got up at 6:30 this morning. By 8:30, I had had my meal for the day, and I haven't eaten since. So I'm with you, because if I eat too much protein, then I'm really bad the next day. So I've tried to really cut that eating. When now I do have my coffee with cream, so I know that counts as calories in too. But so by 8:30, I had had 2 cups of coffee with cream and my meal for the day, and that's it. So I have got it back to OMAD, which I know is helping a lot.
Do
So,
you
But I
do
get,
you do do you
Lisa and
do
Bill, you
your
understand about the 1 meal a day thing?
yes, we've gotten
Yeah,
that far in the book, so we
yeah.
understand that. Um, it is a little confusing for me with the 16:8, the fact that you can still get the fat in the coffee, even though because our eating window was until tonight, not Tammy, because I can't remember your name because it says Tammy.
I'm Kevin.
What is
Kevin.
it?
Kevin.
Kevin. Okay.
Kevin.
I'm just gonna call you not Tammy. Uh,
I'm
um,
down with that.
but we so until tonight, you nailed us. We've been eating from noon to 8 as our 8 window. But we have fat in the morning in our coffee, so it's confusing. If we shift our 16:8 to like 8 to 4,
What? Yeah.
8 a.m. to 4 p.m., then are we not doing any fat after 4 p.m.?
You're not doing anything after
Right.
4 p.m.
Okay,
Nothing. No coffee with fat in it. You can have coffee or tea or something, but
right.
no, I encourage no sweeteners. Sweeteners, Tammy will talk more about that at some other time, but yeah, so your food intake, food being fat and protein and the nominal amount of carbs starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and you're done at 4.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, and the
Yeah.
1 meal a day, that's I've been 1 meal a day for 2 years. I mean, there's times where I'll have 2 or 3 meals in a day and I'll spread it out, but rare.
Mhm.
Um, I've been doing 1 meal a day over 2 years. A lot of people they don't even want to think about that
Mm.
because it can be very difficult. But what happens is I'm in a constant state of fast. Not the type of fast I really want to be in that Sue was talking about. And that's what Sue's been doing. Even though she can't do the 48 or 72 hour fast, she's in a constant state of fast. 23, 24 hours a day. She's fasting. And again, I break everything down simply. The science of it doesn't matter to me a whole lot. But the bottom line is if your body is healing itself like it's supposed to, scientifically supposed to, and you're not expending that energy on digesting food, you're way ahead of the game. So the energy in your body goes to healing yourself.
Mhm.
That's why, Sue at 19 years old, she breaks her leg and she missed that, didn't she?
She did.
I did not.
But but that's
76, and I'm proud of it.
but she knew that fasting would help her. And recently, I had an ablation on my heart, and I fasted for really close to 48 hours before I had my ablation
Mm.
because I
Hmm.
knew that if I put myself in a state of healing already.
Mhm.
Well, the next day after the heart operation, my I don't know how familiar you are with this, but that my blood sugar was like 72. I think my ketones were 6.6 and my DBR was 12 the day after the operation,
What's the
laying in bed.
DVR? What's that last number?
Yeah, DBR, Dr. Boz ratio.
Oh,
And you'll
oh,
learn more
I
about
I
that.
know it as Dr. Boz ratio.
Yeah, so my Dr. Boz
Okay,
ratio was 12.
got
And
it.
and
I didn't realize it was
therapeutic
an
can
acronym.
cancer patients, they try to get into 20 or
Under
below.
20, right?
And
We said that.
I'm at 20 or below often. But again, lots of time put in, 2 hours OMAD, things like, or 2 years, I
Okay.
mean, of OMAD. So
So
that's
how
why I
do you,
really encourage you to get with Tammy and get in a
okay,
program and it's just crazy.
is that the
The-
group coaching?
yeah,
I
yeah.
saw,
So
Yeah.
she starts out with what is it? The beginners, then you go to
Beginner.
intermediate.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
oh,
then you
that,
Yeah.
then you always have the same people who are more dedicated. Those of us who've been doing this a long time, I've seen a lot of people come and go because they don't want to try to overcome the brain issues,
mm,
and they're not brain aneurysms or anything. It's they don't want to change their behavior. They want
Right.
the quote unquote weight loss or they want the benefits, but they don't want to change the behavior. They think it's
Mhm.
okay, okay, every Friday I'll have a beer and pizza and Saturday
Mhm.
morning I'll have pancakes and then I'll go back to it. Well, it won't work.
Nope. Nope.
Guys,
You're just
The one thing,
I'm
go
on the
ahead.
website. Is this the beginner group coaching Tuesday PM, 2 p.m. and 7 p.m.?
Yeah, and you see me often
yeah,
in that 7 p.m. one. And
Okay.
and that's new people. And it's actually exciting. 2 weeks ago, there was a young woman on there. She inspired all of us. The questions she was asking and the concern and how, motivated she was, motivated those of us who've been doing this a long time. It's crazy.
absolutely. The one thing I would like to say with their 16:8, the closer you can move your eating to daylight hours. I
Mhm.
mean, I get up at 6:30. I've had breakfast, my one meal by 8 usually. The closer you can move that to the time you get up, the better off you are. So even though you're eating 16:8, if you can move that first meal to 8 o'clock and finish by 3 or 4, you're going to be better off than you are at eating at 8 o'clock at night. That is, you want all your eating in daylight hours.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
move that
and today I didn't finish till 5:30 and I wasn't real happy with that, but the circumstances warranted that. I
Mhm.
normally have my one meal a day sometime between noonish to 3 o'clock-ish. That works for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
And so it all
yep,
depends on what your schedule is. And
yes. If
then
we're going
don't,
to the
whatever you
gym
do,
and working out, then we eat about noon. But if we're not, like today, we did not go. I ate at 8:30, and I'm fine.
and there's no rush to get from 16:8 to 18:6 to 20 to 4.
Mhm.
No.
You have to do what you can do. There's some people that'll take 6 months to get down to 18:6 or 20 and 4.
Mhm.
So big deal. You're gaining a benefit because you're getting rid of the carbs.
Mhm.
You're eating less. You're allowing your body to heal itself instead of digesting food. Just lots and lots and lots of gains. And even,
Mhm.
we heard Diana earlier, she's got whatever her issue is right now that's spiking her blood sugar and keeping her ketones low. I know she's not leaving this group tonight and going over to the refrigerator and eating cake and ice cream because she knows to stick with it and it'll pay off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
have to.
honestly, that's a benefit for us because we've been low carb for so long.
Hmm.
We're going through the first couple of chapters of the book, and it's like clean the pantry, and the only thing that we had to clean was a few sugar-free chocolate bars and some Rebel ice cream. That was it.
Good.
Because we just, we've been sugar free and low carb for a really long time, but it's these little things like shifting food to daylight hours. We heard Dr. Boss talk about that, but that's why we're here, so we can do
Mhm.
those little tweaks that make
Yeah,
a
and sometimes
difference
because I've
long,
listened
long
to,
haul.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've listened to Boz too, and sometimes, and it's not a knock on her. She has to talk to the guy that just started today, and she also has to talk to the guy that's been doing it for 15 years. And
Sure.
Yeah.
Tammy's actually caught me many times. I'm talking to someone, I'm thinking they're in it, as long as me, and I'm going over their head, not on purpose.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
when she asked me to do this tonight, I got in the frame of mind that I'm probably going to be starting talking with beginners and genuinely encourage you. And this isn't any kind of sales pitch at all. If I was not able to be in Tammy's group, I would not be where I am. The
Mhm.
group got me here.
Me
And I'm
either.
even more fortunate in that I told Tammy I would get in her program if I could meet she and her husband Lance at her
Mm,
house. So I actually got all my meetings face to face.
mm.
And that's what really, really made it work well for me. And here, I mean, you get to do that with us because you get to know us. I mean, I
Mm.
know Sue, but I've never, given her a big hug, and I haven't let Diana kiss me yet because I'm not close enough. And
Bill,
but
Bill's
but
like,
you get the idea, right? We just start to commiserate with people because they're like-minded.
Mm,
Right.
Instead of people like my nephew is too funny. He still does it, but he does it just to screw with me.
mm.
You really eat some weird stuff, Uncle Kevin. He's like 47 years old, and I'll go, yep, sure do. He goes, but I can't deny it. It's working. At the
Yeah,
beginning,
I'm
he was
glad.
really genuinely like, what? You're eating what?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to meet you two new folks. So when you do start reporting on on the website daily, we will know you a little better. And you know, Diane and I and Kevin are all you support each other on that website when you report your numbers every day.
Mm.
We get all kind of support, and that's important because some days you may be the only person around. Oh, well, Joe left me for 3 days a couple of weeks ago. I didn't. There's been times I've thought about going and getting something to eat that I shouldn't, but I don't do it. um, so it's that support that you get from each other, and that's important. So it's great to see you guys. I'll be looking for you online. So I think
Good to
that's
meet you too,
wonderful.
Sue.
What
Yeah.
So
where does coffee and tea fall in there?
you can have coffee and tea anytime.
But
Hmm.
adding
Yes.
adding fat to coffee and tea after your 16, after your 8 window that's the no-no.
Yeah, because you're just extending your window.
Right. That,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So
So,
Yeah.
me,
That.
I'm lucky. I like tea. I like coffee without anything in it, but I put
right,
my salt in it, and salt the is not the blue container with the girl with the
right.
umbrella.
Yes.
Oh,
So
We already had it. That's what I mean.
yeah.
We've been,
So
so
right.
our food is clean. We just need less of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
and I've always liked my coffee black, so it's not a big deal. And then now that I've added the salt, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but now I look forward to it because I know I'm ingesting the electrolytes, etc., that I need and enjoying my coffee.
So
Nope.
I do 3 pinches of salt. I'm assuming that's not enough, but
Oh, I
that's
use a whole tablespoon. I have a cup of coffee and a whole tablespoon. Lance, he uses a
you, Bill.
shovel. I've been at Lance's house and watched him. I'm like,
He
geez, when are you
uses
gonna
salt like
stop?
sugar.
Yeah, yeah, like all of us used to do with sugar.
Just
So
depends. Everybody's
Yeah,
different. I mean,
it's what you
and
can
you'll learn
tolerate,
to,
Keith, because
right,
some people won't feel well if they eat too much salt at a time.
right.
It doesn't bother me, thank goodness.
What's a brown butter bite, Joanne?
Ew.
Oh,
Nope. I don't like them.
that's when you cook your butter down until
Oh,
it
brown butter.
clarifies
Okay.
basically, and you,
yeah. I
uh,
haven't been able to master it yet, Lisa. I give up on
yeah,
it.
Nope.
Okay.
I
I
haven't
don't
tried
like
them
them.
either. I need to do
Um,
that, but
yeah.
But
We
that's
just,
the other thing about the groups too is the sharing of the recipes and ideas and then I'm in an extra group. I know other people that are in an extra group. They're even in an extra group from that, but it's all for the most part Dr. Boz, or I wouldn't
mm,
be because you get too many ideas from
sure.
extraneous people, and it's like So I the whole time I've been in this is what Tammy's told me, and what Dr. Boz has told me, and then I got a little bit of education from one guy about the cholesterol, and I
Mm,
took myself off of statins almost immediately.
wow.
Yeah,
So
and that's a
what
story for another day.
what are you using to check your ketones? Because that is a challenge for us figuring out.
My Mojo meter,
Okay.
Keto Mojo. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I have looked into getting the CGMs and that stuff when they came out. You know what? It won't give you ketones, so why waste your time doing it? I use my meter every day. Yeah, the strips could get expensive, but you know what? I'd rather do that and know where I'm at than to not do it. It's to me, it's worth it. Now,
Okay.
Yeah,
with
and
you guys testing two of you, it's going to be a little more expensive. I bought my hubby a Mojo meter. He doesn't use it. I figure one of these days when mine conks out, I've got another one.
Have
let,
faith. Maybe he'll use it
I'm
one of
not
these
worried
days.
about it. I'm
let
not worried about it.
let's
Okay.
But
welcome
no,
Heather in here.
that's just something I have to do daily. Now, when go camping, I take it camping with me. I test first thing in the morning. So that's
And
just
how many times a day do you test for ketones?
I don't just once in the morning. That's
Okay.
it. I
Yeah,
mean, I know
and
they change, but
they
I ain't worried
change
about that.
they change dramatically throughout the day, one way or the other, up,
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
So uh, Sue's right. Most of us check it one time in the morning, and for me, I get it between 4:30 and 6. So every day between 4:30 and 6 that I check it. There's days I
Okay.
just like I know right now I'm good blood sugar and good ketones. I can feel that. I can
Mhm.
feel it, and
yeah.
so I don't do it every day, but when I do it between 4:30 and 6, because then you're doing it under the same parameters every day. You're not
Okay.
Right.
walking your dogs 3 miles coming in and taking your ketones. Well, your
Right.
ketones could
Yeah,
drop
no.
precipitously or they could go way up after you walk the dogs. You never know what's going to happen. So, and
Mhm.
then it saves you money. A lot of people, they'll do the chase the numbers. They'll check their blood sugar and their
no,
ketones 3, 4, 5 times a day, and all they do is get frustrated,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
genuinely
Nope.
frustrated.
Once
So
a day. That's more than enough.
Okay.
let's talk to
Yep.
Heather here. How you doing, Heather? Are you going to join us?
Sorry, I had
There
to
you
get
go.
off of mute. Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
I'm about to go in the gym, but I thought, oh, I forgot to log in and I wanted to see what this group is like. I was actually going to ask you guys a question. So I had tested I have the Keto Mojo, and I had tested my blood ketones and the glucose. I don't remember what the number was exactly, but I wasn't in ketosis. I think it seems like I have a higher glucose in the morning when I get up and I'm running around moving before I go to work. And then, so it was like, it might have been zero point 0.4 in ketones and then like 125 in glucose, right? Then I tested it around 7 p.m. and I did okay with my food today. I still have my carbs were about 50 or 45. But I had all the rest of my numbers pretty good. Like I was able to meet my fat and everything. I had sardines for dinner. And then when I tested at that time, it was really good. And I was kind of shocked. So I'm like, is it because I was eating so much oil today that I'm in ketosis now? Because I think it said my glucose was like 83 and my ketones were at 1, which was like the first time I had that. So
Did
my
you have did you have any
GKI was pretty high.
did you have any carbs today?
Like I had some guacamole in the morning, which has carbs in it,
Yeah, not much,
and
depending
I
on
had
how
some
much you
fat,
eat.
and I had some mescaline. Yeah, I mean, it was like 50 grams instead of 20 or 40. It might have been 45 grams.
You-
But I just found it interesting that in the morning I didn't have it. But in the evening, after I finished everything, maybe like an hour after I ate food or an hour or two, then I was in ketosis and I was in a pretty strong one. So I don't know why that would be. Is like if that's what you guys experience, or do you experience the ketosis in the morning and not later on at the end of the
Well,
day?
how long have you been doing this? I know the first I saw you was
So
a couple weeks ago on the beginners.
yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get myself towards a higher fat diet and slowly lowering my carbs for maybe 6 weeks. But I would still eat something that had some kind of sweetness towards the end of the day. I'd eat everything that would be like keto, like I'd have sausage or I would have eggs or guacamole, things like that throughout the day. And then at the end of the day, I'd want something sweeter. So it was like really hard for me to get into ketosis, as like I'd start really craving it. And then I think on one of your on one of the programs that I was listening to with you guys, you were saying I have to increase my fat. So today I increased my fat significantly, and I was eating like more butter with everything. So I thought that that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
so what can happen is, I mean, if the first thing in the morning, they call, what do they call that? The dawn effect or something. When you
Yep.
wake up, your blood sugar is normally, not for everyone, but normally it's the highest for the day.
Darn
Normally, not
phenomenon.
always. And then as the day
uh,
progressed, if you ate early, then you were burning up all the glucose that your body normally uses, so your blood sugar later in the day would be down or could be down. So there's just so many factors, and that's part of the reason I like this program. You're constantly trying to figure out why it happened. But if you got to ketones, 1.0 ketones and blood sugar of 83, that tells me that your body has the opportunity to get into ketosis and stay there. So get rid of the carbs as fast as you can. So the indicator, I mean, if you're 1.0 and 83 and you're eating carbs, 40, 50 grams of carbs, wow. If I eat 50 grams of carb, my body would give me the big old bird.
I
Yep.
mean, I maybe entered it in wrong. A lot of the carbs were from things like I ate olives. Like I ate everything that's like keto, that had some carbs in it. I had salad. So I didn't eat anything that was carbs, like traditional carbs, like that had
Oh, well
sugar in
then,
it. And
did
so
you have a
maybe this,
salad
I didn't
dressing?
have, I had olive oil and vinegar.
Yeah,
So
then you should be, maybe you had infinitely lower carbs than you thought. I think you did.
yeah, maybe I had less.
Are you
And then
using
one of the things,
chronometer yet?
I started using it a few days ago. So I started entering things in, and maybe I'm not putting in the right thing or the right measurement. But I will say that one of the things I was doing that I learned from Tammy, which is awesome, I was taking that RX sugar every morning in my coffee. Every morning I'd have
Mm.
2 little scoops of those. And I was like, this is zero. And I tell my son, it's zero. So my son was putting it in his shakes. I had made ice cream with my ice cream maker with coconut milk, and I put a whole bunch of that in it. And then when I put it in the chronometer, I saw, oh my gosh, like it says net carbs, but it was actually very high in carbs. And I had no idea because on the package it says 0 carbs. And that was like on Tuesday. So I haven't had any since then. And, or maybe since after I started looking at it. And I don't know, maybe that's helping me because I'm not having that first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
That's like the one big thing I've been doing.
yeah. There's Sue, I think, is the exception. She says she gets up around 6:30 and she's done eating by 8:30. That I think that's an exception. Most of us, myself included, I don't feel like eating at 8:30, 9, 10 o'clock. Back in the day, I'd get up and make bacon and eggs, ham and sausage and toast and everything else just because it was morning. But as time went on, I really don't feel like eating until 11, 12 o'clock. But that's me. And that's funny about the RX, whatever that is. I never heard of it.
It's allulose.
Allulose.
Yeah.
Allulose.
Allulose.
Okay. Yeah. I see
Yeah.
allulose. I know would not work for me because any of the sweeteners I use them, my body thinks it's sugar,
Yep.
whether it is or not. My brain says, "Oh, that's sugar."
The
So, and
My
that's
allulose
blood
part
is
of the
not.
learning process, Heather. That's a great job.
Yeah,
You figured
it's
that out.
amazing that that little tip because I would have never known if she didn't make a whole big point and show it. And I was thinking it was just that candy bar. And then, and my blood sugar doesn't go up because I wear a continuous blood glucose monitor. My blood sugar doesn't go up in the morning, but it's still giving me a lot of carbs. So it might not be causing the blood sugar to rise, and I could see it, it doesn't rise, but I'm still taking in all those carbs. So it's preventing me from getting into ketosis. So I just want
Right.
to say
Mhm.
thank you. If is Tammy on here? I don't know, but
No, I'm Tammy.
thanks to the
Well,
group.
actually,
She's
I'm
Oh,
not
you're
Tammy.
Tammy
She says.
today.
she's at her
Oh, okay.
granddaughter's
You're
graduation
acting
tonight.
as
His
She's at
name
her
is
she's at
not
her
forgot to
grand
Tammy,
tell her.
she's
I
at her
thought I saw
granddaughter's
Tammy, but
graduation.
maybe I saw Tammy, so I
No,
thought maybe she
it
was just letting
does.
you take over. I didn't know.
Just call him not Tammy and he'll
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah, because Tammy's probably down at the football stadium. That's where the graduation. She's probably down there
Good for
sweating the
her.
load because I'm here talking to all you guys. Oh no, I let Kevin talk to him. We're in trouble.
Do you guys do exercise? I'm curious. I'm a little bit of I like going to the gym and I like doing a lot of like weights and whatnot. And I try to
Any
walk a
any
lot.
any kind of stress on your body like that, any kind of stress. Um, Not stress because Aunt Matilda brought over a cake and she'll get mad if you don't eat a piece. Not that kind of stress. Physical stress is great. Sauna, I have one of those little portable saunas in my house. I think it cost me $200 and it's pump steam in. Walking the dogs, lifting weights, swimming, biking, anything to put a stress on your body.
But how long have you been doing keto, Heather?
So I've been trying to get into keto. I used to do keto, but I did Dr. Berg's style of keto, which is like a light keto light, I'd say. I used to do that a number of years ago before COVID. So I have experience doing that and it worked really well for me, but I haven't been able to get into it fully since then. And I've been trying to transition into it for about 6 weeks.
Mhm.
And this was the first time on my Keto Mojo that I've noticed, like tonight was the first time that like my numbers were that I'm showing that I'm in a medium ketosis. So I was kind of excited because it's
Well,
taken me a while because I'm sugar addicted. So
yeah, your
Sure, yeah,
ketones
your
are always going to
brain
be
wants
lowest in the
sugar.
mornings,
Yeah.
so because you use them up. And
their lowest one.
but the reason I was asking is because Dr. Boz does not recommend exercise for a while when you first start until you get
I've been doing it I'm
industry.
kind of been doing it a long time. It's not like new.
Okay.
What I have been doing new is that I've been walking more. That's the newer thing because I used to just like to just go to the gym and lift weights, and I noticed I would just get bulky. And I started doing some research, and then I said, you know what, I just need to walk more, and not just always be about the lifting of the weights. So I think it's like it's not new for my body.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bill, you have
I
anything
gotta
before
go,
we leave?
guys.
See you,
I
Sue.
gotta go.
All
Bye,
right.
Sue. Love ya. Good to see ya.
Got
Love
anything
ya.
for us, Bill, before we get out of here? We only have a handful of minutes left. Well, wait a minute. We can go to 8:30, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, we can go to 8:30 if you guys want. I forgot about that.
I can get out of it.
I don't know if it was I don't know if it was a combination of things. Earlier.
I can't get out of it.
Bottom right should say leave the meeting. Little door, little guy walking through a door. Or just shut your phone off. That's what I do.
I I started using I believe it's called Ceylon cinnamon in my coffee in the morning. Supposed to be good for metabolic health and whatnot
Mm-hmm.
over regular cinnamon. And I will put quite a bit in it, to the tune of say, maybe a tablespoon. Kind of creates a sludge down on the bottom of the coffee, at the end, but I'll consume it. Well, I learned this morning, I was wondering why my sugar stays so high, or not, well, just higher than where I feel it should be. That tablespoon has 6 grams of carbs in it. Now, I guess we wouldn't think that would have that much. I believe a tablespoon of garlic has 9 garlic powder, and I like my garlic.
Seriously, I use garlic like crazy.
I have eliminated garlic. I make my own taco seasoning
Yeah.
that has arrowroot powder instead of flour. Now the arrowroot powder is gonna, have carbs. That doesn't seem to bother me. That does have a little bit of garlic in it, but if I'm
Interesting.
lacing the top of some chicken breast or a steak with garlic, I'm not putting so much on now because I have learned that my body is that sensitive to it.
That is interesting. So what about fresh garlic, Bill? Or is it just the powder?
I would think that fresh garlic is going to do the same thing. So
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna have to look it up now because I use a ton of garlic.
And it may affect people differently. I'm
But apparently it hasn't hurt too bad, but
well, and at this point, it may have
that's
been,
just my metabolism though.
yeah, I'm still dancing with, or at least I was the last few nights. I would come home and have a later dinner, and it consisted of a lot of protein. Now realizing that the amount of food, no matter what it is going to cause an insulin response, and cause sugar to go up. Uh, I think that may have been. I think I'm coming off of that. I
Mm.
also think with liver issues that I've had, I know I'm working on getting the glucose out of my body and to the point of not exercising. I know for myself that the walking definitely brings the blood sugar down.
Mm-hmm. It brings mine down too.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that is vice is bad, not at all. Maybe that's just not to put too many things on at one time. What are your feelings about that, Kevin? I know you mentioned it earlier.
Put too many things on. What do you mean?
As far as, you're trying to get your diet in order, and then, you're trying to add exercise and
Well, even when I was heavy, I walked a lot. I've had dogs forever. I
Mm.
didn't walk as much back then as I do now. And I say get the fat in, get used to start getting your brain transitioning off of those carbs. If you do exercise, you do exercise. If you can't do exercise, can't. Get the fat in. Train your body to live off the fat, and get off the sugar. And people who have been doing it as long as me or Diane or Sue or whoever, they'll lie to you if they say after a year the urge goes away. They're lying to
Mm.
you.
we
It's always there. I've been doing standard American diet. I'll be 65 in a couple months. 61 or 62 years of my life, I was eating Cocoa Puffs and sugar and, McDonald's and all the rest of the garbage the rest of us ate. My brain and my body wants that. So do it as long as you can, meaning the fat.
what is speaking of fat, I want to say, what is the word about pork rinds? How many people
Oh,
enjoy pork rind?
oh, that's a delicacy for us.
Yeah.
They stay in the pantry, Bill.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so a friend of mine, I've done it before too. Mix cod livers, sardines, and mackerel together
Yep.
and turn it into like a pate
Yep.
and then season it the way you like with garlic or pepper or, put some mayonnaise in there or whatever. And then that's your dip. That's your
Oh,
pate
very,
dip for your pork rinds.
very good.
What happens with me though is the pork rinds, even though they're awesome and they're one of the best keto foods you can get, they're really high in protein,
Mm.
really high. So, and they don't really fill me up unless I'm eating it with pate.
Sure.
So I minimize them for myself. I give one for myself, one for the dog, one for myself, one for the dog's love.
Just because it's protein?
That's interesting because I thought it was the fat that would cause me to pick up a pound or two when I ate too many pork rinds, but you guys are saying it's too much protein.
Oh yeah, they're really high in protein. I'll look it
Okay.
up while we're talking, but um, I had some yesterday, and that's what really spiked my protein yesterday. I got hungry, so I ate, and then about an hour later, I decided to eat again because I didn't feel as sated as I thought I would feel. So I had some pork rinds with this mayonnaise slash sour cream dip that I make. You got it?
I think it's like 8 grams or something in a serving, or
It was 7 grams.
serving is not very much.
Yeah. So
Seven.
Okay.
the bag has 6, so we're looking a little over 40 grams of carbs. I mean, 40 grams of protein. I didn't
How,
realize.
how much fat?
Uh, fat's going to be, if I can do my math right, wow, it's going to be 12 grams of saturated altogether, 30 grams total.
Okay, so how I look at that then is, so I'm looking at it right now. So you're getting 2 to 1 protein to fat.
Yeah.
2 to 1 protein to fat. It should be completely the other way around.
Sure.
You should be getting 2 grams of excuse me, 2 grams of fat for every 1 gram of protein. And everybody's different. I used to be 3 grams of fat per protein. Now I'm around 2 to 1. I like to be more than 2 to 1 anytime I can, but definitely not 1 to 1. And try really hard not to be 1.5 to 1. The more fat you get in you, the better.
So find a fat to dip in, huh?
Yeah, and there's all kinds of ways. Like if you like the pork rinds, you measure out a half an ounce or whatever it is. And if you make the pate like I described, or the mayonnaise slash sour cream, you just make whatever you like that way. And then I really pour the olive oil in, excuse me, avocado oil in when I make dips like that until it becomes creamy, and not slushy or gooey, but where it's just really creamy. So you're adding lots and lots of fat on top of the um, sour cream and on top of the mayonnaise. And of course, with the mayonnaise, we're talking about the ones that aren't made out of soybean oil and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And that's for another day. And then you're getting lots more fat. And then like I'll get the pork rind and I will put a mound of my dip on it. Say, okay, that looks like at least 1 tablespoon. That's what I want. You know, so there's all kinds of tricks for that, but that's what you always have to look for are pork rinds excellent? Oh yeah, zero doubt.
I honestly
Zero
didn't
doubt.
realize that there was that much protein in pork rinds.
Hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, what else you got? Anybody? I can do this all day. This is fun. It's like math. I was teaching
I'm
fourth
I'm
grade math
interested.
today.
I'm interested in hearing what your like entire diet would look like for a typical day. Like, what do you eat for breakfast and for lunch and dinner if you eat it? And like, for example, if you put butter on something, you put 2 tablespoons, or that's the part I'm trying to get because I'm like, man, this is not that easy.
It's
So
tough to get a
tonight,
lot of fat, all as much fat in as you need.
yeah, so tonight was pretty easy. I swung by this this local place here. They barbecue. Excuse me, they smoke everything. I had smoked chicken wings, naked, high fat, low protein on chicken wings, and then I put them in my dip, and I literally scooped that into my mouth. And then I had a couple pieces of brisket because I got from them also. And you have to watch because I called and actually I talked to the chef himself. They put him on because what I really wanted was ribs. Man, just saying ribs, my stomach just growled. That's crazy. My
Yeah.
stomach doesn't growl very often. I really wanted those ribs bad. And they said, well, we only put a little bit on. And I went, a little bit's too much because a little bit to you might be way too much for me. And then the sugar's on there and then bam. And it happens all the time. It's going to constantly happen to you. Diane will tell you how many times you eaten something and 2 hours later go, wait a minute, and go look and you're like, shit, I had 10 carbs and didn't even know it because I wasn't paying
Yeah.
attention. So,
Hey,
and you just get over it.
not
But yeah,
Tammy.
you're right, Heather. Goofy, it looks goofy sometimes.
Yeah, I
Bacon and
Sometimes
use
it's a good
egg,
idea to
lots of bacon and egg.
put your food in chronometer before you're going to eat it. That'll give
yeah,
you,
Yes,
that's a
it'll
good
be
point.
eye opening.
Yeah.
yes.
You find out
Hey,
how
Yep.
much carbs is and stuff.
I use a mustard based barbecue sauce for my ribs. Um, and so like a spicy brown mustard with some apple cider vinegar.
Oh, nice.
And I actually take the bottle, the apple cider, the mustard bottle, and take half of the mustard out, replace that with apple cider vinegar, shake it up. And so I make my own dry rub. And so put the ribs on with your own dry rub that doesn't have the sugar in it. And then when it's time to do the basting, you're basting with the spicy brown mustard and apple cider vinegar. And I don't tell them that it's mustard based because it just looks like it's not really saucy.
Right, right. Well, I like that idea because
That's how I
I,
do
I
it.
I don't barbecue as much as I used to because it's just me and my wife, and I'm keto and she doesn't eat meat.
Mm.
Figure that one out, right? So, but I've made more than one rib in my lifetime. I'm good at it. Yeah. Now my stomach's growling again. We got to quit talking about
We're
ribs
not
and
supposed to talk
rubs.
about food on here.
Well, let's go back
I
to
normally
Heather.
don't
Let's go
care.
back to Heather's question. So, what, not today, but yesterday, what was a typical meal or a day of eating?
Yeah, I'm just curious to know like what items you guys are eating because I can't believe how high the carbs are getting. And I feel like I'm doing everything typical keto. So I'm wondering what I need to cut out or what I need to put in so that I get to like a higher percentage of fat and then I don't maybe eat as much. Maybe I have less eggs, but I eat more butter or something like that. I'm trying to understand what you guys are doing.
What meat do you like the most?
I like eggs.
Okay, eggs.
I
Okay, make an
I do
omelet.
like eggs. Yeah.
Make an omelet. And what actual meat do you like though?
Oh, I mean, I'll eat beef or hamburger, or I'll eat salmon or sardines. Those
Okay,
those are
so
things I eat.
you take those, and actually, there you can Google and find all kinds of them. For some reason, they come up on my book face all the time, all kinds of. But you can take things like hamburger and Philadelphia cream cheese, and instead of making typical gravy that we put on biscuits, you're using the cream cheese, and then maybe some avocado oil and butter in there, and then make an omelet, and then take that gravy mix with the sour cream and the butter and the hamburger and pour it on top of your omelet. And if you still don't think you got enough fat, put butter on top of that. Or do what I did Tuesday. I ate a whole stick of butter because I decided I was gonna fast, but then I said, nah, I'm not going to. And I was in a position where I had to end up eating a whole stick of butter, but I got over it. But it paid off.
Do you guys typically do that? Do you eat that much butter? Is that
Mhm.
like a norm? Like maybe once a week or yeah?
Yeah, it all depends.
If you need
Depends on
fat,
what I'm
that's a good
making.
good way to get it.
You need fat. It works.
Yeah, and why fight trying to put it in there with stuff that's going to give you too much protein?
Mm.
That's why I say you take the 5 or 6 pork rinds and scoop a big old chunk of your dip and put it in there, and then you're getting the fat in.
Look,
And I've at the end of the day, I've said, okay, I don't have enough, and I go and I get a little measuring cup and I pour avocado oil in it and drink avocado oil. Go ahead, Keith.
in reference to the butter, I've gotten real fancy. When I want to get real fancy, I'll go and slice it. Well, you're real fancy. I just put in little slices and I just grab one, like a chip. You know what I'm saying? I just eat the butter, right?
Yeah, and you know what else tastes good with them? I always buy unsalted butter
Yes, yes.
because they just put that regular crap salt in it. And then what I'll do is I'll sprinkle my Redmonds or my the other one on there, and
Pink
then I put it
Himalayan.
on my tongue with the salt side down and just savor it. It's really good.
Yeah,
And
call
but
me.
to
So
get
I
the
gotta call
best
my
benefit out of it,
cardiologist. I got to call my cardiologist tomorrow. Tell him I'm eating a steady diet of pork rinds and butter, and I'm feeling.
With salt, Bill. Don't forget the salt,
that was good.
which you're pouring into your coffee by the tablespoon, right?
And if he says, "Well,
Don't be afraid of salt.
are you hitting your
Good
macros?"
salt.
He says,
That's,
I'll tell you,
oh my
you ask
God.
like what we eat. This is what I do a lot of now. I work like a part-time job 3 days a week, and I do OMAD. So on the days that I work, normally I'm through eating by 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'll put a bunch of meat on the grill, like I do a ribeye or something, or hamburgers or whatever, and I'll put that in the fridge and I'll warm it up a little bit in the mornings, and that's why I eat mostly meat. Not a lot of vegetables, but 10-ounce
My
ribeye,
big my
and there you got most of your fat for the day and your protein too. So
Yeah, my big go-to is pork belly, bacon, and eggs.
yeah, I did some pork belly the other day too.
So you speaking my language is a
Yeah, and
carnivore. That's what you're
I
talking
put
about.
it in a
Yes.
container now so I can save all the fat,
Mm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so it's not running off of it in the grill.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yesterday I had
Okay.
a quarter cup of bacon fat with about a quarter cup of butter mixed, and I put a little my salt in there and drank that to make sure I got enough fat.
I'm
Hey,
smoking. I'm
Do you,
we're
smoking out
eating. Hey,
here.
we're eating to live, right? We're not
Amen.
living to eat.
Amen.
We're eating to live, not living to eat.
Bill, I see you salivating over that
Oh
bacon grease.
boy. Now,
do you guys have MCT oil? Do you take
We do.
MCT oil?
We do. We use we C8 only. We take a tablespoon. Now tomorrow will be day one, eating earlier in the day. But we take a tablespoon of MCT oil, a quarter cup of heavy whipping cream, and a tablespoon of butter. And that's in our coffee first thing in the morning. We have one of those milk frothers.
Hmm.
And so I froth it up real good. And Keith actually drinks coffee. I drink chai tea. So I put my chai tea bags in there. And I add just a pinch of salt to mine. Keith isn't heavy on the salt yet. So, and that's where we go. So tomorrow will be the beginning of our 8-hour day starting at 8 a.m. from 8 to 4. So
I gotta finish my drink out tonight.
yeah. He can have it tomorrow. He just needs to be done with it by 4. So
Keith will be double fisting the rest of the night.
it's a different kind of double fist.
Oh,
So you think of that one as the beer mug at the bar, right? It's like now
Yeah,
we're trying to
yeah.
get coffee with MCT oil and butter down
oh.
before the sun goes down. What is it? It's 4 o'clock
Do,
somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my gosh. You need to take
do,
that comedy routine on the road, Lisa. You've cracked me up quite a bit tonight.
Oh, goodness.
Oh
Oh my
man.
gosh.
does
So,
anyone eat raw egg yolks? Because I was like listening to something saying that you can have them raw. Do you guys eat that? Like make things with that?
I eat a lot of raw meat.
Do
I'll
you
keep that to
really?
myself mostly because mo a lot of people won't eat it, and you don't have to be the smart guy to figure out that the raw meat has more proteins, minerals, vitamins, etc. Because when you cook it, you're cooking all that out.
Wow.
And for years, I try to, when I'm eating out, I just want them to brown it on each side so the people around me don't get disgusted. I want it, I want my steak, I am not kidding, blood red. I want my hamburger raw, almost raw, very, very rare. Um, Sometimes I partake of the bacon while I'm cooking it. Um, it's not like when we were kids, you're not going to get trichinosis or whatever it
Are
was
you
you were supposed to
sure
die.
not, Tammy? I'm just asking.
Yeah. And then sometimes I hard fry my bacon because I like the crispiness, but most of the time I just barely cook it
Okay.
because I prefer it that way.
I've eaten lots
So
of raw eggs.
yeah,
Doesn't
you
bother
have
me.
to answer that for yourself because I don't think anyone's in here going to say, yeah, go ahead and eat raw meat and go ahead and eat raw eggs. So you have to figure that out for yourself. All I'm going to tell you is I don't bother with a raw egg, but I raw or almost raw meat for myself personally.
I
Lots of
will
it.
take them. Do you like eggnog? I like eggnog. So I take the eggs, put them in the blender with some cream,
Mm.
nutmeg. Kind of tastes like
That,
eggnog.
that's what I was
Mm.
thinking. Or even to make ice cream without anything sweet, like the eggnog ice cream. Yeah.
Mhm. I'm not afraid of raw eggs. I'm still here.
Hey, Rocky Balboa drank them.
He has to be the most famous fictional character, right? I mean, we don't even know Sylvester Stallone. We just know Rocky Balboa.
But you forget he has a set of footprints in Philadelphia at the
Right.
top of the stairs.
Rocky
So
Balboa does,
yes.
not
Yes,
Sylvester
sir, he does.
Stallone.
Yes, sir, he does. I actually lived in Philly for a long time, and he was their favorite son and probably still
Still
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. All right. Does anybody have anything else or have
So,
we
so you said that you could blend the eggs, put a little sweet, what not sweetener, what you said,
Um,
Oh, I'm thinking to do
heavy
cinnamon
cream
with heavy
and
cream.
some nutmeg.
Yeah.
You've done it before.
okay. Well, since I'm
and
making
then
the shift, so I'm gonna. So
yeah.
I like to drink my food. I was asking Lisa about, if you wind up, let's say you just did coffee all the time,
Hmm.
would your body push back because you're doing more liquid than solid?
I would experiment. You know,
Hmm.
if you really think that would work better for you, give it a try. There's there are some people who they'll for 2 or 3 or 4 days they'll eat nothing but fat. I personally have never tried it. Doesn't appeal to me. But I would think that, eating nothing but fat for several days in a row, it might, wear on you a little bit, either physically or mentally. I think the cutting the steak and eating that, or the hamburger and cutting that, or having bacon and eggs in front of you, I think that mental picture probably helps better sate you than just drinking. But I don't know. It
I,
might work for you perfectly, Keith.
I do have one more thing. I am always thirsty.
Hmm. Drink more, eat more salt.
Okay, so I take pinches and put it on
It's
my
not enough.
tongue, but obviously it's not enough. I need to do more. Now,
Mhm.
go ahead and finish.
Well, so for example, I try really hard to do 2 tablespoons a day. When I make my coffee in the morning, I put a full tablespoon in.
Okay.
That's the Baja salt. Are you familiar with the Baja salt?
Yes,
Just
we
yeah,
have pink Himalayan is what
yeah,
we're
yeah.
using
I
now.
like the Baja salt better for my coffee.
Hmm.
Then throughout the day, if I want another tablespoonful, but I might do it in drops. I might have a cup of green tea and put the drops in it. That way I'm not actually tasting the salt, but I'm getting it when I'm drinking the green tea, which of course most of us know has health benefits, the green tea itself. Or you could have it, and me, I can't function anymore with 2 cups of coffee a day because I just don't drink that much anymore. So sometimes I'll have a second cup of coffee, but it's decaf. And I try to have that done before 4 or 5 o'clock and another tablespoonful of salt.
Okay, so I'm trying to bring my blood pressure down and I haven't been able to do it.
So um, the longer you do this, the less inflammation you'll have.
Mm.
So, and
Mhm.
the less, because I had bad blood pressure too. I was on like 3 blood pressure pills. I think I'm still on one. And my blood pressure was 135 over 90 on 3 or 4, I think it was 3 blood pressure pills.
Oh, wow.
Now my blood pressure is like 90 over 55 most of the time, something like that.
Try the
So
Baja salt because that did it for me. Taking a
you got,
pinch of that every morning with water, I was able to go off my blood pressure medicine. And I think I had like 145 over 95 was my blood pressure. And it went really
mhm.
high too. And then I didn't know it was the salt for sure. And then when I went off of it, I ran out, my blood pressure was zoomed back up again. So it's amazing what it does to the cells. Like it
Yeah,
regulates it. It's my medicine. I don't go anywhere without it. Like if I go away, that bag comes with me everywhere. And it's literally a pinch on my tongue as soon as I wake up with some water, and that's it. Try that.
so
Might do it.
you
Himalayan pink salt doesn't do it. Like it did nothing for me.
you
Okay.
Okay.
may need more, Keith, because you're
Yeah.
probably a bigger guy or bigger than most
Yeah,
women at
we might
least.
need.
Yes.
So here's a good example. Sunday I went to all day heavy metal festival. It was really hot. I felt myself getting dehydrated, and all I was doing was drinking water, just water. No, not
Mm.
nothing electrolytes, just drinking water. And I
Hmm.
knew that wasn't the smart thing, but it was better than not drinking.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So not only did I get dehydrated, then I got bloated
Mm.
because what little salt was in my body was hoarding every ounce of water, and I was still thirsty. I could have just
Right.
kept drinking and drinking, and
Right.
that's what you're experiencing, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's because you don't have enough salt going in you. It's counterintuitive. And that's when Lisa was, making fun of with Bill there. He's got to go see his cardiologist, tell him, hey, I'm eating fat and I'm doing this. And Lisa's like, yeah, make sure you tell me you're pouring salt down your throat too, because those are the three. My cardiologist freaks out, you know. I know you shouldn't be eating that
You
keto, but it's working for you, so go ahead.
you just
Fine by
answered my
me.
question because I was getting bloated, and that was on Tuesday, and I said, "Is everyone else getting bloated?" And Tammy said, "No, you shouldn't be bloated." But I think I'm just not having enough of that salt.
Could be,
So I think
or
you
your
just
body's
answered
not
what it
acclimated
is.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm realizing I might need to increase it rather than just a pinch, which is what I was taking before I was doing this. I might need to do like a teaspoon or however much you're taking. What do you take?
Oh,
Two
you're out.
teaspoons?
No, tablespoon. For me.
And I exercise every day. So it
Yeah,
might
so
need
you need
a
more
lot more.
electrolytes, you need
Yeah.
more salt.
Yeah, you pretty much do the opposite of what you think you should do. When I
Right.
first started,
Yeah.
I had kidney issues too, so I was worried about the salt because I'm like, is that going to bother my kidneys? But I was retaining fluid, and Tammy kept saying more salt, and it was the opposite of what I was. Are you sure? Because
Took me
I
three
didn't want
years
to.
to
I didn't want to hurt my
figure.
kidneys either. So
Mhm.
Took me 3 years to take her advice. As soon as I did, it worked
And you're
perfectly.
sitting in her house, not Tammy.
Yeah.
we're gonna be
All right,
calling you
look.
Tammy from now on, Kevin.
No, it's
All
not
right.
Tammy, Diana. You got to call him not Tammy.
All right, look. I think we could sit here all night, but I don't know. It's like the old wrestling. We have a TV time limit, right? You have the champion
Yes.
either at the end of the TV time limit or just before that. I encourage you to get in those groups, and then you can commiserate with the people who are on the same journey as you, same journey, and befriend them and share notes. Because my notes for what I'm doing, you know, I've been doing it 3.5 years. I'm on one meal a day. I'm just doing something completely different than you guys are within the same basic parameters.
Right. Right.
Everything I do is within the same basic parameters. I'm just doing it at my level. Don't get in a rush and have more salt. Part of the reason is the why you're thirsty is and why your blood pressure's up is you probably still have inflammation and the arteriosclerosis
Mhm.
or the arteries. If they're inflamed, then that's when the problem's going to be where the blood's not flowing well enough,
So I just
right?
found out that I have a pinched nerve in my C5, 6, 7, and 8, and it's an active pinched nerve. So which means I'm always walking around in pain.
Yeah.
So
So
that
that's
would
going to
make
affect
sense.
your blood sugar and
That
There
would make
with you,
ketones.
sense,
but
right?
mine's in the lumbar area.
Yeah. So that would make
Yeah.
sense why. So yeah, literally I need to drink more salt, eat more salt.
Yeah, and you got to figure out what's good for you. I try really hard to make sure I get two tablespoons a day for myself. If I don't, at least I know one great big heaping tablespoon every morning. I mean, I actually,
You're putting it in water, correct? You're putting it in your water.
I put it in coffee.
Okay. I've done it
I
in
put it,
coffee. I've done a heaping amount, but I just need to increase it and just go with
yeah, most people who've drunk coffee, you've seen or heard of people putting a little bit of salt in to get the bitterness out.
Mhm.
So I've done that for years. So it was no, it was no big jump for me. But you got to be careful because you eat too much salt and you're not used to it. You might be really close to the bathroom for that day until you get used to it.
Yeah, it will
Okay.
make you go, but your body will get rid of it if you don't need it.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
You
All
don't
right,
you don't have to be afraid of salt. It's
Yeah.
as long as you're eating the good salt.
Right.
Lisa and Keith, I hope to see you guys back. I know I'm going to see
Yes.
you, Bill. Heather, you've been around for a couple
Thank you,
weeks
Heather, for
now,
that
steady.
salt recommendation.
Yep.
I tell doctors about it. I've told people in the emergency room about it. Nobody knows about it. So it's like God's cure.
Yes.
Right.
But we've all been taught that salt is bad.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
the salt
Oh,
that
you don't. You
they
can't
say
have
is
salt.
bad is bad. It's the other salt that's bad, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I tried Celtic salt and it didn't bring my blood pressure down.
Mm.
So you have to really watch that. The other one that brought it down was, I think it was called La Mer. It was a French salt. That one helped too, but I decided to go to the Baja one because that one has the most minerals out of any. And I said
And
I'd
it
rather
actually,
just go for the top.
and the Baja
Tastes good.
tastes good. It actually tastes
Yeah.
good. It's kind of weird, but it
Well,
tastes
both
really
of those
good.
have got magnesium and potassium in them too, so that's part of what brings your blood pressure down too.
That's
Yep.
true.
I don't know.
Yep.
Does Himalayan salt have that in it too? I really haven't.
I
Yeah,
don't, it does, I
they're
just
all
don't know how
relatively
much.
close. Yeah, they're relatively close. It's just the Baja has more minerals, and then I think Redmond's, and then Himalayan and Celtic, or Celtic then Himalayan, and so they all have a decent amounts. It's just the Baja has the most, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we good?
Yes,
Yes, thank you guys.
thank you.
All right, so
Nice to
you'll
meet you
probably get
guys.
the regular Tammy next week, and some of you, if you want, you'll see me Tuesday. You'll see me Tuesday, Heather. Bill, you'll be there Tuesday, right?
So Tuesday is either 2 or 7?
2 or 7. I
Okay.
only go do the 7 o'clock when I'm doing something else at 2 o'clock.
Okay. And then I
All right.
noticed that there are videos and stuff. Do we do the videos and stuff in the monthly? We do that outside of the 7 p.m.
Yeah, I think if you're in the course with her, she has videos for you. Are you in the course with her, Bill and Heather? Are you're in the beginner's course?
I'm in the beginner's course and I'm doing the I got the Dr. Boz consistently keto. So I'm
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
Okay. So I
And I'm
see
doing it
the,
with my daughter too. My daughter's in it. She's 23. So if you're in
okay.
Tuesday night, then you'd be in it with.
Okay. So
Oh,
the,
before we go, Joanne, who was with us earlier, I didn't see because my bar uh, covers up. She says she uses pork rinds and butter. It's her new chips and dip. I can see that because
But
I
it,
have
it,
this one butter. It's got all kinds of spices in it. That man, that's good. Flavoring and spices.
We're thinking I'll melt some down and doctor it up with some green spices. So and not what you're just thinking about. I mean, basil and oregano and
yeah.
all the
Sure.
other Italian type stuff. So
Sure. All right. I'll see you guys later.
Okay. Thank you.
all right.
Hi, everybody.
Thanks all.